Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM. Welcome back to the Calmsden Chronicles here over on Calmsden Farm. I do hope you're all doing very well and having an awesome day. So we're picking up exactly where we left off after the end of the last episode. We're still in the 1st of September, it's 5:15 in the evening. We've got quite a lot to do, so much like I did a couple of episodes ago, I'm going to try and make use of the time that I've got, and we're going to maybe do a bit more evening work this evening. It's a lovely night, the weather is pretty nice, the sun's out. So it makes perfect sense to make use of the time. Like I say, we've got quite a lot to do. Let me just check that this is down to 0% dirt. No, we've still got a few. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Clean. Lovely stuff. So, what have we got to do? Well, one thing I do need to do is actually I need to spend a bit of money on a field roller. Now, for some reason, it's just something that completely slips my mind every time I set up a farm. I've done it on here. I should have written a list, really, but of the equipment that I need. But we haven't got a field roller, and we need to roll the linseed over here that we drilled in the last episode. So I've got a mod installed. It is an Amazon field roller, 7.6 meters wide, I believe. It's by Agrar Design Austria. It is on the mod hub, and it's a lovely thing. It's relatively cheap. It's about 18 grand. So we're going to get that purchased. I'm going to run the Massey in this field this evening on course plate and get this job done. So that's one thing we need to do. We need to mow mow Ted and row up field 7 in the distance there, the grass field, and get that turned over for hay, get it all picked up and put into the cow barn. And then once all that's done, then we need to run the cultivator in that field, and that's going to be turned to an arable field. We're going to put some barley or canola, sorry, into that. We need to drill field 4, which is the bigger one over there that we limed in the last episode. We're going to drill that with wheat. So that's something we need to do. I need to buy a whole load more solid fertiliser because we used, I think roughly, give or take a bit, we used about 6,000 litres. I think we've got just under 2,000 litres in the drill at the minute, and we've got one full bag of 1,000 litres left on the shelf here. I think I had about 7 or 8 bags in there, I think. So yeah, we've used up most of that, so we need to stock up on that as well. So there's lots to do. So like I say, yeah, it just makes perfect sense not to dither around and waste time. It's 5:20, like I say, the sun's out, so it makes perfect sense just to make use of the time we've got. This thing needs another drink again. It's empty of fuel yet again because it has been busy, but I'm hoping in today's episode at least we might be able to just give this thing a rest, because this is one of the vehicles that we've used the most of so far, really, in the series. But let me just do my best to try and reverse this thing in without causing too much damage. I am going to have a bit of a reshuffle. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Getting better, ladies and gentlemen. It's only taken me several years. There we go. That'll do. That will do just fine. Yeah, I'm going to have a bit of a reshuffle. If I do buy this field roller, which I am going to do, I think the slurry tank there needs to go and live over at the cow barn. There's no point in it being over here. We've got a little barn opposite the cow barn there that can take that. So, yep. So I think, no, actually, where am I going? I need to go and pop this by the fuel tank and fill it up, because, again, the tank is almost empty. So, yeah, so we're going to jump in the JCB, we're going to hook up the mower, and we're going to make a start in the grass fields. I'm going to, but first, before we do that, let's just turn that off, fill that up, diesel, yep, thank you very much. Now, let's purchase this field roller, shall we? So, let's jump into the shop. Let's go to the roller section. This is the one here, the Amazon AW7800 by Agrar Design Austria. Really nice mod. Like I say, it's 18 grand. The cheapest previously, sorry, let me just flick back. The cheapest previously was, well, apart from this one, was 46.5 grand for this Vaderstadt. So, but this one's 12.3 meters wide, which again is a decent size, but personally, and I had this opinion back over on Court Farms in FARMERSIM 22, equipment that's around about the 6 meters, or give or take a bit, I think is perfect size for a map like this. So this is 7.6 meters, which is a little bit bigger, yeah, but it's I think it's kind of perfect. So we're going to purchase that, £18,000. Yep, boom. There we go, lovely stuff. So we shall jump in the Massey. We'll head on down to the shop and go pick that up. Courseplay wages are set to 50%, obviously, because I'm going to be running. I'm going to film and cinematic the mowing of the field, so I'll be using Courseplay for that, but in my place, so to speak. So I'll put the Courseplay wages up to 50%, so that I'm not paying double, if that makes any sense. So yeah, let's get cracking. So, I'll see you down at the shop in a few moments' time. Right, here we are. There it is. It's a nice looking thing. I think it's a good size, I feel, for this map, quite frankly. There we go. Let's just reverse back a bit, unfold it, give it a bit of a looking at. But yeah, that's perfect, that, I think, for this map. Perfect size, requires about 110 horsepower, so the Massey is perfect for this job. I've been wanting to get using this Massey a lot more than we have done so far in this series, but I suppose it was my mistake for picking a few bits of equipment that required a bit too much horsepower. And I know I wanted to try and use it in the last episode, didn't I, running the lime spreader, but it was just struggling a bit with the sheer mass of a full Bredel K165. So either way, though, we'll be putting some hours onto it today. So let's get back to the farm, get this thing into the field, get it running, and then we'll get on with a bit of grass work, shall we? Right then, here we are. Let's get this thing to work. I'd imagine this is going to take a good couple of hours, to be honest, so we'll just set it on its way and let it do its thing. So let's just pull up here, bring up the course play menu. I have just set up the course. Off you go. Should pull up to about there, unfold, off you go. There we go. Good stuff. That's what we got there. Yield bonus of 75. Pre-rolled 72. So 3% increase, but it's a very big field, so that 3% could equate to quite a lot. So it's definitely worth doing. Absolutely. So there we go, yeah. Now, obviously, onwards from the last episode, I am still hoping that there's nothing wrong with this field. Obviously, like I said, the map PDA doesn't actually recognise that there's anything in the field, whereas the info box in the right there, bottom right, does say that it's growing. It's at growth stage 1 of 8. I have just checked up on Oxygen David's post for the fixes that are being sent to Giants with the latest update for this map. There isn't actually any mention of the linseed or anything like that, so I'm just hoping that it's just, like I say, a visual thing that the map PDA just hasn't got the info there. But for all intents and purposes, it does seem to be working. The info box says it's there, so I can only hope that that's the case. So anyway, right, let's leave that thing to it for the next couple of hours. So we'll what we're doing now, we want to jump into the JCB, hook up the mowers, and get cracking on field 7. Right, all hooked up, ready to go. So let's get over to field 7 and get working a bit of grass work, shall we? Now, as I mentioned in the last episode, I had a bit of a fiddle with the XML for the base game Lely Vector cow barn that we have over on the farm, over at the cow area, and I increased the capacity of its loading bays essentially to like 1 million litres. So what that does mean is what I can do with this field once we've got it mown, tedded and rowed up, I can then essentially run round with the Sweetmaker forage wagon and just pick it up trailer by trailer and tip it straight into the cow barn. So that's the plan with that, and we'll do the same thing potentially with the really big grass field, field 17, that we've got to the south of the map there. That's a very, very big field, so I'm hoping that once all this is done, once we've got this mown and the big field 17, we're going to have a huge chunk of hay sitting in the cow barn that is essentially going to look after the cows and allow the Lely feeding robot to just keep on top of the cows for hopefully quite a long time. And what that would mean, obviously this field is going to be getting turned to arable. We'll be putting some cereal crop in here, possibly barley or canola. But the big field and the other custom field that we haven't worked in yet, that's on the hill just behind the cow barn, we'll be able to make use of the grass that's in those fields for a little bit of time moving into the future, and potentially take advantage of our BGA and start loading stuff into the BGA perhaps and start earning a bit of money from it. We never know. We'll see where things go, but for now we need to mow. So let's get cracking, stick a bit of music behind this, and I'll see you in a while. There we are, grass mowed, job done. It did a reasonable job, this thing, I must admit. Now, I do actually know, I'm sure some of you may have noticed from a few snippets of that cinematic there, that this, it is underpowered for what we've got at the minute. The front mower requires 110 horsepower, the back one requires 220, so collectively that's 330 horsepower. The JCB itself is, I think, around 240 something, I think, so it is technically woefully underpowered to power both of these things at the same time, but it does cope. If it's on the flat, or if it's on a very slight decline, it runs perfectly. It runs at the, I think it's meant to be like 13 mile an hour it's meant to run at, but show it a slight incline, even slightly, and it drops down to about 8 or 9 miles an hour, so it's, but either way, I mean, it copes with it fine, it's fine, it'll do, it does the job. And with its, with the JCB's four-wheel steering, it does make the, turning round at the end of the rows really, really easy, so it's a good tractor for the job, even though it is shy on a good few horsepower. But either way, like I say, job is done. So it's 6:15. The roller is still chugging away nicely over in the big field there. What I have actually done in between the end of that cinematic and what we're doing now, I did actually just jump out of the game very quickly, and just for my own reassurance, made a copy of this save, and came into that copy and just zipped forward time a couple of months, and sure enough, the linseed does grow, it does germinate, it does appear, everything looks to be exactly as it should do. So yeah, I just needed to do that for my own reassurance, because I didn't want to go forward any further to find that there was actually something, you know, catastrophically wrong with linseed and it wouldn't actually grow, and I've just wasted lots of money, time, seed, fertilizer, all the stuff we did in the last episode on nothing. But sure enough, it is good. Even when it does germinate in the field, the map PDA still doesn't recognise it. It's still blank and empty and brown. But either way, like I said, it's all good. It's growing. So I can breathe a sigh of relief, I suppose, in that respect. Right, so anyway, I need to crack on. We need to get the tedding done, and then we need to get it rowed up and picked up. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to get a few of these jobs done off camera. I'm going to get the tedding done, the rowing, and we're going to, and I'll pick you up in a few hours' time, a bit later on this evening, when we've got the pickup wagon, the sweet maker there, and we'll be making a few trips back and to the cow barn and topping that bit up with some hay. So, like I say, I'll crack on, and I'll see you all in a couple of hours' time. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Another late night down on Calmsden. Now, I do apologise for squeezing the last, 4 hours or so worth of work into what was essentially, I think, possibly like a 30-second clip. I had to step away from the computer for a few hours, and just because of timing and stuff, if I hadn't have done that and allowed the game just to carry on behind me and do what it needed to do, this episode might not be out when it's when I'm hoping to get it out for. So yeah, so I've just squeezed all that in. But what we got off the field, the hay there, we got in total 563,421 litres. So that was pretty good. So now, jumping out very quickly just to show you, the hay part of the Lely Vector system here is looking pretty well blessed. There we go. So in total, because we had just north of 10,000 litres in here, we got 573,852 litres. So now we've got the straw over in the bale barn there, so we need to start bringing that over here, and of course we just need to wait for the 2 bunkers of silage to ferment and the bales that are in the shed as well, and bring that over here as well, and then that's this thing pretty well blessed for hopefully quite a while. And with that in mind, I'll be able to essentially just leave them to it for a while, which is nice and low maintenance, I suppose. It does look awesome in here with the red lights, though, don't you think? I do love this place. It's a really nice cow barn. But yeah, so during all of that, I have been kind of faffing around. I've had a bit of a a jiggle around in the shed there as well. I bought the, as you can see, I bought the slurry tanker over here. It was a bit too big to fit in that barn over there, like the straw blower is. It kind of stuck out too far and got in the way of my auto drives. So, yeah, brought it over here and let it just sit there for a bit. But now, it's 10 o'clock at night, so it's late enough. So I think we are going to call it here for this in-game day. We'll get the Fent and the Sweetmaker back over to the farm, and we'll pick up tomorrow morning. Now everything's had a clean, everything's nice and parked neatly, tidily, cleaned off, ready for a fresh day tomorrow. So I'm going to do the same with this when I get back to the yard, and I shall pick you all up tomorrow morning when the work shall carry on. Morning all. So I'll start the day off giving the dog his breakfast. I've got no idea where he is. I did see him a few minutes ago. There he is. Hey up. Watch out for that umbrella, mate. Let's see if he actually makes it to his bowl this time. There we go. Right, so, morning everyone. 2nd of September. Still got loads of work to do, so let's crack on. Now, the plan of attack that I've got at the minute is we need to run the cultivator in field 7, the grass field we've just been working on yesterday. We need to, we need to get that cultivated and get it ready for drilling in the coming episodes. I'm not necessarily going to get to that today, but next episode I'm pretty sure that'll be the case. So I'm going to get the cultivated done first, and then that, and possibly at the beginning of next episode we'll spread some lime in there and get that ready, and then we'll have 3 fields to drill. Fields 4, 7 and 10. We're going to put wheat and barley in fields 4 and 7, and field 10, which is the field next to the cow barn over there, that's going to be seeded with some grass. So that's the plan, and go from there. So let's get cracking nice and early, 7 o'clock in the morning. There we are. Let's get the gates opened. Now, this is actually, again, much similar to the last episode. This is actually, for me in real life, it's the next game day as well. The next game day. It's the next day. And there's been a couple of mods released on the mod. There's been quite a few mods released on the mod, to be fair, but a couple that I've picked out that... one of them in particular was this lovely decorational weather vane by Rockhound. It's a really, really nice little, just little bit of decoration. So it was only 500 quid, so I placed one of them down. Oriented it in the correct position. So north is facing north, of course. But yeah, I just really quite like that. Looks very, very quaint. And the other mod that I grabbed immediately when I saw it was the Remember Player Position mod by Peter Pawn 247. This is a mod that I had used all the time in FARMERSIM 22. But yeah, essentially it does exactly what it says on the tin. It remembers your player position, so when I come in and out of the game, I'll be stood where I exited instead of back at the front door of my farmhouse. So that's really quite cool. Now, a little bit of an update on where things are. If I bring up the F1 menu, the bunkers, which I feel like they're fermenting quicker than they used to in 22. This one's 71%. The second bunker around the back of the shed there is 67%. So, yeah, it just feels like they're moving forward much quicker than I expected, which is fine with me, because obviously as soon as that's all fermented, we're going to be getting all of it tipped into the cow barn. And in order to do that, another mod that I'm going to be taking advantage of, it wasn't released in the last batch of mods on the mod hub, but it was a couple of batches ago. But it's one of the Grimmy auto, it's one of the Grimmy belt systems, but it's an auto load one. I'm not necessarily going to buy it. I'm thinking, for the purposes of just emptying these 2 bunkers, I think it'd be more sensible and cost effective just to lease it for a few hours. But yeah, I'm going to get my hands on that, and that's just going to make the whole exercise of emptying those bunkers considerably quicker. We do have, obviously I've got the front bucket for the telehandler, and I think that has a capacity of about 2,000 litres, but to shift north of 740,000 litres of silage in a 2,000 litre bucket is going to take a long time. So, right, anyway, let's get to cultivating. So we're going to keep with the Fent, of course. This one's the one with all the power. So let's just go straight back into the shed and get this thing hooked up. There we go. Lovely stuff. Right, so see you at the field in a moment. Right, okay, Here we are, here we are. Let's slow down there, get these gates open. Now, just thinking on, again, a little bit of a plan into the future. I think I might have mentioned this before, but regarding the cows, firstly, let's just jump into the menu and have a quick look at those. They're doing all right. They're all in good health, 100%, of course. The adults and the babies are both at 100%, 38% puberty on these young ones here, so that's all good. They're producing, they've so far produced 11,400 litres of milk, just under 32,000 litres of slurry, and we do have 17,762 litres of manure in the manure bunker. Now, of course, because we own the BGA, it seems nonsensical not to take advantage of that. So obviously, if I put the manure and the slurry into the biogas plant, we'll get digestate out of it eventually, but we'll also earn a little bit from the money that we'll earn from the electricity that produces and the methane. So that's worth doing. Regarding the big grass field that I've got to the south of the map, field 17, now because of what we've got now in the respect of a backlog of silage in the bunkers and in bale form, again, that massive grass field I think would be a very good idea to essentially get it mowed, possibly whether we use the bunkers or whether we just throw it into get it wrapped in bales, I don't know. We'll figure that one out closer to the time, but essentially I think I could afford to throw that whole thing into the biogas plant, and again, you know, we'll benefit from some digestate, but the silage that you put into biogas plant earns you the most from the electricity and the methane. So I think that would be a wise option now that we've got the backlog of silage to fall back on to cover us for hopefully the coming months. So I suppose a short plan moving forward anyway. So anyway, we're going to crack on with this. We're going to get this cultivator, get it ready to be drilled for the next episode. So see you soon. Right, here we are, just finishing off now, getting this last strip, and then that is job done. I'm very happy with that. Really happy indeed. Now, I've got to say, I am absolutely loving making this series. I'm loving Calmsden and being back on here for FARMERSIM 25. As I've just been whizzing around filming that cinematic there, it's just, yeah, it's just one of those feelings you get where you just think, I really love this place. It's such an amazing map. It really is. So, anyway, here we are. Job done. Let's get this thing picked up. There we are, folded up. Let's try and get out the soil as best as we can, although we've not really got much of a chance of that, have we? Field border isn't massive, but yeah, just to save leaving too many tyre tracks and compaction tracks in the field there. Anyway, right, so I think for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. It's been a good one, been a very busy one. We have progressed somewhat, so I'm very happy with that, and it stands us in good stead to start the next episode. As I said before, we're going to be starting off liming this field, getting it ready for a drilling, and then once we've got the drill attached, we'll then be able to do all three fields, essentially one after the other. We'll put either wheat or barley in this one here, field 4, the other one of those two crops in this one here, and then we'll seed field 10 next to the cow barn there with a bit of grass, and then it'll be time to tackle the really big grass field, field 17, down towards the south of the map. But like I said, for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the episode and found it a little bit of fun. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please consider giving the video a like if you can. It does do wonders. It helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And as always, there are a host of links in the video description below with my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 and you like the idea of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, as always, I would be massively appreciative. And of course, I do also have my G-Portal affiliate link in the video description below as well. If any of you are in the market for purchasing a online server to play with your mates and you like the idea of supporting the channel, but you also like the idea of 10% off cost from that server, again, your support would be massively appreciated. So thanks again for your time, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.